It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's conservative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in, Conservative Assassin, episode number 8. Appreciate all the support, everybody that's been tuning in the broadcast, sharing the videos, sharing the content, etc. And so got to give shouts out, Russell Fam, the wifey, you're the best, Big Bear, G1 Fan, Joe, the Caffeinated Assassin, Cross Culture, Cross Lower T Culture, check them out. All legends. Have a tremendous community of support, and I appreciate all of you guys. Much love to you. Of course, we're going to continue to drop a ton of content. Conservative memes. We have a couple new ones that hit the wire. Been getting a lot of trolls, a lot of troll reaction to the memes. No, I can't do that. I was going to say maybe it might be fun to go to the message feed and show you guys some of that, but there's a lot of profanity on there, and so I have to go through and I gotta ghost the comments because some of them are pretty nasty. The trolls, they have a tendency to have a potty mouth. And at any rate, we have, I think, about a half a dozen memes out on the page now. And we're going to be dropping those Conservative verses coming soon and Conservative animation real soon. I know I keep saying that every time I broadcast, but it's coming soon and it's going to be hilarious. So like the Facebook page, share the content, share the videos, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. I haven't started pushing a bunch of people over there yet, but it's going to happen real soon. And of course, the live streams are going to be epic, and it's going to be a good one tonight. I think we're going to crush tonight with your guys' help. We're going to have a good time. I see you guys there. Thanks for tuning in. And so, I heard a Christian radio host came under fire. Just heard this today for saying that Michelle Obama looks like Chewbacca. Now, the comment, of course, is being portrayed as not only mean-spirited, but also racist because Wookiees, I guess that's what Chewbacca is. I'm not a Star Wars fan. Steven Spielberg is a raging sodomite and a lunatic, and I don't watch his movies. But at any rate, a Wookiee is allegedly a space primate. And so, in other words, what they're saying is that when they say Michelle Obama, or when this particular person says Michelle Obama looks like Chewbacca, what they're essentially saying, allegedly, is that Michelle Obama looks like a space monkey. Now, that's pretty stupid. And I don't know about all that, but I was curious about the accuracy of the comment. So what I did is I did my homework. And I want to share with you guys my research. And you guys can judge for yourself. Okay, so here we go. I dug deep, did some research, and this is what I came up with. And so it's kind of like, well, if it's true, it's true. So there you have it. I think the case has been settled. It is established that Michelle Obama does, in fact, look like Chewbacca. Now, I don't know if Chewbacca has testicles, but fact, Michelle Obama or Michael Obama does. Fact. So at any rate, I'm on restricted access from Facebook. Could last up to 30 days. They sent me the notification because I allegedly have used offensive language. They didn't specify what it was. The examples that they used were anything that I said. But maybe I just have a knack for calling people retards or something. I don't know. I'm more suspicious and more inclined to think that they just don't like what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I mean, you guys know my feelings about Facebook. I'll just use the enemy's resources just so long as they're available to me. I'll occupy enemy ground. Look, I don't like Zuckerberg or whatever his name is and all of his Illuminati clan posse weirdos, sodomites, and pedophiles. And so we're just going to use the victims or use the resources. And, you know, I am not a victim. I don't care if Facebook ghosts me and flags me and blocks me. Yeah, they locked me out of my account one time, but I don't care about that. There's other platforms. If they ban me from Facebook, and it's interesting because I only have a few people that's even paying attention. And I find it interesting that even with just a few people paying attention, they got their algorithms, you know, bugging me like little gamma ankle biter, you know, little trolls, you know, is what they do. But, you know, I'm not a victim, and I'm not going to adopt a victim mentality. And word of advice, don't ever adopt a victim mentality, because what it does, once you allow yourself to adopt a victim mentality, it makes you unable to have or express gratitude. And, you know, gratitude is the pathway to joy. You know, when we read in the Bible, Romans chapter 1, you know, one of the things that's indicative about a lost person is that they do not have gratitude. And in fact, they express ingratitude towards their creator. And listen, once you become the victim, once you play the victim, or you accept the victim culture, or you accept the victim mentality, then you've already lost. So don't do it. I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do their trolling. While they do their trolling, you just keep on strolling right over the bridge. You know what I mean? Who cares what's under the bridge? There's nothing under there but dookie and mold and stink. And they want to drag you down there. But the thing is you got to do it to yourself. If you just keep, you know, eyes ahead, just keep right on plowing, just keep right on crushing, just stroll right over the bridge, they can't do nothing to you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to crush tonight. And so I'm going to try not to rant tonight. You know, it gets kind of exhausting, probably for you guys too, to hear me rant, you know, for an hour or whatever. But the title of tonight's stream is Subjective Virtual Reality, the Cognitive Dissonance Nightmare of a Black Doom Shattered Soul. And so that's where we're going. Let me pull it up here. Boom. Shout out to the Caffeinated Assassin. He puts together all of these slides for me. Very nicely done. He is a legend, and his legend status is quickly accelerating. And so what I want to do tonight is I want to begin by reading the words of King Solomon. Before I do that, let me just peep these comments. What's up, everybody? Yeah, the Caffeinated Assassin says, hashtag Dookie Trolls. Let me see if I can share that. My wife said I should do more of this. I don't know. I'm just not really a techie person, but there you go. Oh, no, I just released his identity. The Caffeinated Assassin is actually Joseph Varner. Yes, sir. This is who you are with the glasses on and with your regular attire. But by night, you're a caffeinated superhero. At any rate, oh, by the way, we're trying to build the community, by the way. So appreciate you guys participating. And it's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to take a little bit of time. I have some strategies to how to do that. But just like anything else, you just got to keep plowing. You know what I mean? You just got to keep plowing, especially when it's cold and it's hard. You just got to keep plowing. Just keep the fire stoked. You know what I mean? And just keep on pressing on. And that's what we're going to do. And so, as I said, I want to start tonight by reading the words of King Solomon from the book Ecclesiastes, one of my favorite books in the Bible, a book that really changed me many, many years ago. It really did. And there's, you know, I don't want to make it a point of personal testimony tonight, but the book of Ecclesiastes is a powerful book. But the reason I want to read there is because I want to illustrate from the Word of God the reality of cognitive dissonance, or what you might call the reality of disharmony of soul or conflict of spirit. And so King Solomon said this. Now, this is King Solomon speaking from insanity, right? When you read the book of Ecclesiastes, you got to understand that much of what he says is insane, right? He's not giving us precepts or there are plenty of precepts in Ecclesiastes, but what I'm saying is when he's speaking from the perspective of insanity under the sun, he says a lot of wrong things, and you got to know how to properly navigate the text so you don't get mixed up. Okay, so when he says things like this, I'll just read some of Solomon's words here. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. I gave my heart to know madness and folly. I said of laughter, it is mad. And by the way, let me pause there. And you got to understand something that Solomon said elsewhere when he wasn't insane, that laughter is like a good medicine, right? So you got to understand here that this is coming from, and everything I'm reading here, I took it out and I copied and pasted it here because I wanted you to hear the words of insanity from somebody giving their perspective from under the sun. All right. Disconnected from his creator. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. I gave my heart to know madness and folly. I said of laughter, it is mad. Whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. That's what you call hedonism. I myself perceived all that one event happens to all. I perceive that one event happens to all. There's no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever. Therefore, I hated life. I went about to cause my heart to despair. All days are sorrows, all go into one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. Now, we live in a time, as has always been the case, where the only absolute truth is that there is no absolute truth. That is sort of the spirit of the age, and it has been the spirit of every age. And we read all the way back in Genesis chapter 3, Satan came along and said, "Ye shall not surely die." In other words, what is the message? What God has said is not absolute, right? And so every claim to absolute truth is twisted and maimed and convoluted and spin doctored and raped 1,000 times over. And so you know the drill. You shall not surely die. You shall not surely die. You shall not surely die. That's the message of a reprobate culture. You shall not surely die. Now, you know where I'm going with this. With every claim to truth, there is a counterclaim. Just like Satan said, you shall not surely die. God said, the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. Satan said, you shall not surely die. And there's all sorts of alleged refutations, attempts to rob you of your right to know anything for sure. And, it's a dime a dozen all day long. It's spewing off of every platform of our society. It is the zeitgeist of our culture. And so those that are unplugged from their creator and his redemption through Jesus Christ are left to walk this earth traumatized, yet culpable subjects of cognitive dissonance, trudging through, just trudging along a spiritually and psychologically confused labyrinth of nonsense. That's what life is without Jesus Christ. Listen to the words of Solomon again. It's insanity. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. I gave my heart to know madness and folly. I said of laughter, it is mad. Whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I perceived also that one event happens to all. There is no remembrance of the wise more than the fool. Therefore, I hated life. I went about to cause my heart to despair. All days are sorrow. All go to one place. All are dust, and all turn to dust again. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. That's the utterings of somebody who has disconnected himself from his creator and redeemer and is just trudging through a spiritually and psychologically confused labyrinth of nonsense. If you read Ecclesiastes, you see Solomon spewing a bunch of nonsense. And listen, God wants us to know that it's nonsense. And so there you go, trudging along, searching for something real, searching for something absolute. Read Ecclesiastes chapters 1 and 2. That's what the journey was about. Just searching for something that is real, searching for something that is absolute, searching for something that cannot be found except in Jesus Christ. And so, when truth appears, it is batted away with condemnation and social shame, leaving a morally schizophrenic culture in its wake. And that's why I'm the way that I am. Because, I don't care about social shame and I don't care about social condemnation, but I am of the disposition that I want to fight back. I'm not just going to lay down and let people run over me. I'm going to fight back. You can say what you have to say, but I'm not just going to lay down and die. It's not going to happen. Now, I know a lot of people don't agree with my methods and so forth, and that's okay. You don't have to. I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I question my own methods sometimes. I think that's everybody should, honestly. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. If you don't question your methods and motives, then you're teetering on insanity. You should. And so anyways, when somebody makes a claim of absolute truth, here comes the social shame and condemnation. Oh, what makes you right? Oh, what make why you got to be so exclusive? Why do you say that the Bible is truth and blah 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 blah, right? I mean, we hear this all the time. You don't know that. You don't know that for sure. Who are you to say? And you know what the attitude is? Just do what thou wilt. Just do what thou wilt. And by the way, Solomon fell into some deep Satanism. You can read about it in his life, sacrificing children to the god on the altar of Moloch. I mean, he went deep down the rabbit hole of insanity. And when we read the words of Solomon, when he says, let me scroll back up here and find it. Anyways, I missed it. So I'll find it in a minute. So, that's where I was going with that. So when you see Solomon say, let me get back up there to it. When he says, whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. You know what he's saying? Do what thou wilt, which is the fundamental tenet of Satanism, by the way. And so that is the zeitgeist. That is the attitude of our culture. There is nothing absolute. Who are you to say? How do you know for sure? Who are you to judge? Just do what thou wilt. And so we're told that truth is, it's not a thing out there. It's not absolute or objective in any sense, but it is of your own devising. Truth becomes your own subjective virtual reality. And what a wonderful existential paradise, right? I mean, create my own reality. Well, doesn't that sound wonderful? Create my own reality. And this is what it gets you. Look, there's a reason why I chose this picture. That's subjective virtual reality. Look at it. Look at it. It is not an existential paradise. It is not a wonderful thing to, quote unquote, create your own reality. A self-created reality is a reality that will betray you. And in the end, it will be a paradise lost, not a paradise gained. With no anchor to reality, all of our existential fantasies float away into apathy and nihilism. Just like Solomon said, there is no remembrance of the wise more than the fool forever. So who cares, right? Who cares? If there's no anchor to reality, if nothing is absolute, that quote unquote existential fantasy just floats away. The reality of our making, it floats away, and you ended up busted and beat down in a corner. And so who cares? If nothing is absolute, who cares? There's no remembrance of the wise more than the fool forever. So who cares? All is vanity and vexation of spirit. But, we play it cool, right? With our self-deceptive counterclaims. So we say to ourselves, my life has meaning and purpose under the sun. And the whole point that Solomon was making is that there is no meaning and purpose under the sun. And in that, he is right. That's the point. But we are self-deluded and we deceive ourselves when we tell ourselves, my life does have meaning. My life does have purpose. And I've heard it 1,000 times. My life has purpose apart from God. My life has purpose apart from Jesus Christ. That is self-delusion and self-deception. So we tell ourselves, yeah, my life, most deaf. meaning, purpose, value, while we're ever reaching to find something real and something firm to grab a hold of. But endless doubt kicks in, endless doubt that there is no such thing, that there's no such thing as something absolute or an absolute reality or absolute truth. So the endless doubt kicks in. And so we get ever pulled downward into the rabbit hole of nonsense. And that's what happens. Listen, the struggle is real. The truth is in front of you. But when you believe the lie, just do what thou wilt, you shall not surely die. You will spiral. You will. And so when the truth is presented to you, when the truth is in front of you, the doubt will kick in. And the doubt is like a nasty arm reaching up to grab you and drag you down the rabbit hole of nonsense. But here's the thing, and this is the point I always want to make. You have to do it to yourself. You have to believe the nonsense. If you just don't believe the nonsense and don't compromise with the insanity, it will not work. It will not work. Peep these comments. Glad you guys are communicating with each other. What's up, Gail? I see you there. The topic is subjective virtual reality. So that's what we're talking about. Hope you're still there. What's up? I see all you guys there. Appreciate you tuning in. If you guys have any questions or comments, that's fine. If you guys just want to communicate with each other, that's even better. Because we're a community. Listen, it's not about me. You know, I might be the tent peg in the middle out here somewhere. But, you know, it's not about me. It's about us, community. And so when I see you guys communicating with each other, that makes me smile. And so, you know, the spiritual and psychological warfare is real. We all know it. It may be the realest thing that you know. I mean, if you're trapped under the sun, it might just be the realest thing that you know. And by the way, it is a trap where just like a fish flailing on the ground seeking water, the same cognitive dissonance, the same disharmony of soul and conflict of spirit shows up again and again and again. So what do? Well, we just keep it simple, right? Just keep life simple. Why even search for absolute truth? I mean, the idea of it, after all, is part of the torment. You know, maybe there is a way out, but why does it have to be so hard? Why can't I just have my cake and eat it too? And so we don't think too deeply. We don't ask certain questions. Morality is out for sure. Virtue's in, just so long as it's a virtue of my own devising. And so we rid ourselves of developing any real convictions about anything. We resolve, in a matter of speaking, to become our own Zen masters. That's why I've heard so many atheists, and I'm not exaggerating, say, well, you know, all religion is terrible, but, you know, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Buddhism, because at least Buddhism makes some psychological sense, if nothing else. But that's like the landing place to try to escape nihilism, to try to escape the nihilism that is pressed upon you when you give yourself over to a world of nonsense. Don't think too deeply. Don't ask certain questions. Let's get morality out. Let's self-define our own virtue. Let's clear ourselves of developing any real convictions about anything. We'll just become our own Zen master, right? We'll just try to allow our consciousness to be absorbed into the great one. Yes, it is retarded. And I probably just got flagged. Anyways, so What happens? Well, our relatives now rule. Relative truth, bow down. Bow down to it. Relative morality, just bend a knee to it. Relative meaning, just bend a knee to it. That's what they want you to do. But what is it relative to? What did God say? Ye shall surely die. That does not have the ring of a relative. And so, maybe there's refuge in religion. A lot of people look there, right? Maybe there is a place to escape the cognitive dissonance, to escape the psychological and spiritual disharmony and torment. Maybe we can find it in religion. And so we turn on the TV or look to social media only to find the televangelist or the megachurch preacher selling us the same relativistic themes. The pseudo gospel of create your own reality, your best life now, 8 steps to create the life that you want, reposition yourself, thoughts are things, and on we go. So, what do we get from religion? Well, that's it. Maybe to become our own God is the way out. I mean, after all, didn't Satan say, you shall not surely die? For God doth know in the date that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened and ye shall be as gods. Maybe that's the way out. Maybe that's the escape hatch. Maybe that's the true path to redemption, to be my own God. Any reality is mine. I'll just create my own reality. I'll legislate my own reality. Now that has the ring of a relative. Maybe subjective virtual reality is not so bad after all. Maybe making my own reality is in fact the path to redemption. After all, this is what my religious leaders have told me. And so, nothing is off limits. If that's the case, nothing's off limits. I'll just let everything be assimilated into my mind, increasing my storehouse of resources to expand my own reality. More social media, more entertainment, more music. I mean, music is wonderful. Maybe I'll let my music legislate my reality for me. And by the way, that's what a lot of people do. And by the way, that is not only is that what a lot of people do, but that is the intent of the conspirators behind the satanic music, that the music that they give you to listen to but will be that by which your reality will be legislated and determined. But it's not reality. It's unreality. It's nonsense. And so, here we go. Let's just take it all. We'll just allow it all to be assimilated. Let's increase our storehouse, our resources, so that we can expand and build our own virtual reality existential paradise. And so let's do it. More social media. Let's bury our face in our smartphone. More entertainment. More pornography. More sexual experience. Let's just be illicit. I mean, morality's out already, right? There's nothing absolute. You know what Solomon said, whatever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. So maybe the pathway out is found in part by sexual experience. I'll just be illicit. Just prostitute myself. Maybe that's it. If nothing is absolute or real, then this must be the ticket to freedom and happiness. So sign me up, right? If there is nothing absolute, if there is no absolute reality, if there is no absolute truth and meaning and purpose, then this is all we're left with. This is it. And it's a one-way spiral down a hellhole of nonsense is what it is. And so, peep these comments real quick. Appreciate it, guys. So anyways, I hope you guys are keeping up with the comments because I have a hard time keeping up with them. And so they're there for you guys. I go back and read them afterwards because a lot of times I miss a lot of them. I think after the last stream, I missed at least about 10 comments that I didn't read live, but they're there for you guys. If you guys have a question, I will certainly answer it. But insofar as you guys are commenting, you guys can see the comment feed, and so that's for your benefit. You can read them in that way. But at any rate, so if that's it, no absolutes, then let's just assimilate all the nonsense we can into our lives, create our own reality. Just more junk, more entertainment, more social media, more pornography, more sex, more running around, whatever. And so the thing is that a self-created reality is always in flux, moving from one thing to the next. And that's in part what creates the cognitive dissonance. That's in part what creates the disharmony in the soul. Why? Because reality now is not the same reality it was yesterday. If reality is not absolute, if reality and truth and meaning and purpose are not absolute, and we're left in existential nonsense where we have to create our own reality, then guess what? It's always in flux. There's nothing firm. There's nothing fixed. There's no foundation. It's always moving. We can never drive a peg or pin our lives or build our lives on anything. Reality, quote unquote reality, is different from moment to moment, from one day to the next. And so, can you really exist between moving virtual realities? Again and again and again, we try to turn the madness off, right? This self-created existential nightmare of trying to find meaning and purpose apart from absolutes is a spiral down a web of nonsense, a dark hole, a rabbit hole of nonsense where everything is always in flux. There's no foundation to build a life. There's not even a foundation to construct a strong emotional life upon. There's nothing. And so what ensues is psychological and spiritual madness. And so what do? We try to turn it off, right? Where's the off switch? You know, you don't want to give your heart to no madness and folly, like Solomon. So you look for the off switch, right? Let's turn it off. Less thinking. I don't want to think about that. Less thinking, more feeling, more just kind of floating along. But a mind like that cannot be left to itself. And so internet media becomes the quote unquote anchor. Internet media becomes the savior, right? So turn on your smartphone, turn on YouTube, turn on Netflix, turn on social media, pretty images, messages. You say, hey, look at that. A quote unquote friend liked my pic. And so we feel a bit better. We smile. And so we check to see who liked it, only to realize that it's somebody that we don't even know. Sometimes many people that we don't even know. And so, why do you have this artificial connection to those people? Why are they even on your friends list? I mean, I look at some people on social media and they have 2,000, 3,000 friends. You don't even know those people. Why are they there? What is this artificial connection that you have to them? Why are they on your friends list? And look, The thing that you need to make you happy is not found online. And so what's the end game here? Your digital companion, your cyber reality, is not your savior after all. The reality is that you are locked in to a search for absolute truth, and you will not have peace until you find it. And so I cannot, with a pure heart and a clean conscience, say peace, peace, when there is no peace. Listen, we're all locked into a search for absolute truth, and without it, there is no peace. It's psychological and spiritual disharmony and insanity. And so, absolute truth comes with the promise of freedom and comfort and peace and meaning and purpose. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But why is it so hard? I mean, that's a legitimate question. Why is it so hard? Why is it that every time you reach for it, your hand is swatted away by the common consensus? Well, you know why. Remember the words of Satan? You shall not surely die. Every time you reach for truth, the hand comes in. Don't do that. You should not surely die. You should not surely die. It's going to be all right. Just do what thou wilt. So, don't be bullied by the crowd. Listen, the pyramid of apostate nonsense just gets more weak and more pathetic as you go all the way up to the top. And when you get to the top of the Luciferian worldly system, you have Satan, who is a pathetic little gamma weasel. Listen, he's not like some big, muscle bound, right? This, goat head, like bodybuilder. No, he's more like, don't remember the name, but the little from Lord of the Rings. Oh, my precious, my precious. That's what Satan's like. A little stinking, pathetic, gamma, ankle-biting little wimp. And he has no power over you unless you give it to him. And that's what he does. He comes saying, oh, you poor little baby. Oh, you poor little baby. People be mean to you. Oh, come here. Come here. I get you a lot of likes on Facebook. Oh, I get you a lot of pretty girls. Oh, you have good time with me. Just do what thou will. Oh, poor baby, poor baby, poor baby. Pathetic. Satan is pathetic. And that's the image that you should have. A pathetic little, oh, my precious, oh. Gollum, I think that's his name. I'm not a movie buff, but I think that's the name. So, don't be bullied by the crowd. The irony of it all is the bullies are getting bullied. And so don't get bullied. Don't allow yourself to be bullied by the crowd. Don't allow yourself to get pushed into a never-ending cycle of superficial avoidance of truth. That's what they want. You to just be in that cycle to where you just avoid truth because it becomes hard. The social shame is too much. The condemnation is too much. Oh, well, what are people going to say about you? Oh, they're not going to like you anymore. They're not going to be your friend. Why do you care what people think? Why do you care? It is the most irrational thing to care what people who do not care about you think. That is insanity. Insanity. And look, are you just going to fall in line? You're just going to go with it? So allow yourself to just be pulled down the rabbit hole of insanity and nonsense. And listen, what it is it's a continual downward negative reinforcement spiral of nonsense. That's what it is. The system of this world has constant negative reinforcements, and they're always trying to put you in the spin cycle to where you're always just going down and down and down and down. But who cares about the approval of the group? Who cares? I don't care. Listen, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what the trolls think about me. Listen, boom. You showed up to the wrong party if you think I care about your little trolling, little ankle-biting, little gamma, little pathetic ways. And listen, conservative peeps, people that are picking up what I'm laying down tonight. Who cares about the approval of the group? You don't need it to survive. You don't need it. In fact, the key to thrive in this life is to forsake it. And so, ask important questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? What is my problem? Where am I going? You know, the consensus, the group, you know, the pathetic hierarchy of worldlings under the dominion of the beast, they'll say, well, don't ask questions like that. At least don't ask them and expect real answers, because there are no answers. There are no answers. Just come here and let me coddle you and tell you how lovely you are. And I can be so sweet to you, and I can make people like you. And so it is a satanic trap. Don't ask, don't tell. That's the mantra. You know, a false, polite eradication of absolute truth from your mind, making you a slave to your own subjective virtual reality, a personal matrix of your own making. But don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Listen, there is a way out. But here's the thing. You are not the gatekeeper. The only way out is divine intervention. The truth, the absolute truth, as it is in Jesus, that is the way out. You know, when you get down to the end of the book of Ecclesiastes, King Solomon said this. After he spun all the way down through the rabbit hole of insanity and nonsense, he came back up and he saw that under the sun is not the ticket, that there's something that transcends the sun, that there is something that is absolute, and it is the absolute personal God and his son, the Redeemer, Jesus Christ. And listen what Solomon said once he came back out of the rabbit hole of insanity. You get down all the way to the end of the book of Ecclesiastes. He said this, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Fear God and keep his commandments." Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. It's been fun. Got you, Sister Vic, Gollum. Got you there. It's been a lot of fun tonight. And I want to just plug this tomorrow night. Wait a minute. That's not it. Before we get out of here, I want to plug tomorrow night's going to be fun and it's going to be intense. And it's going to be a blast. So let me extend somewhat in part on the theme from tonight. So tomorrow night, it's going to be episode 9, Paganism, Sun Worship, and the Copernican Heliocentrism. Don't ask, don't tell. That's horrible. That's going to be tomorrow night. Listen, it's going to be fun. It's going to be intense. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the community. I appreciate the participation tonight. Love you all. Sola, Deo, Gloria, Christ-servative out. God bless.
It's Christ-servative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's Christ-servative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's Christ-servative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing. It's Christ-servative assassin, truth stay shining, busting on you wizards so the truth stay climbing.